despite her attempts to try and get out of an abusive relationship. She sadly lost her life in the hands of her abuser on the very month highlighting domestic violence. According to New York State Office for the Prevention of Domestic Violence 2017 report, the number of orders of protection required to be reported in the state's protective order registry reached a 5-year high. Nationwide, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have been victims of some form of domestic violence within their lifetimes, according to a report by the Center of Disease Control of 2013. Today we are gathered here by community residents, local agencies, people who really care. People may ask, why is the Assemblywoman doing this? This is out of political reason. No, your Assemblywoman knows what this feels like because I went through it myself. So I know what it feels to be a victim. And I know how hard it is to get out. And that is the most sensitive time, is when you're getting out. And I wanted to bring this message myself because there are so many young people that don't understand that this is not right. It is just not right. And so today we wanted to bring the family, the mother, the father, the sisters, to give their own account, because this could happen to any one of us. If we have children, family members, it can happen to anyone. I was lucky enough to escape many years ago. I was fortunate, but it wasn't easy, especially when you have children. It's not easy. So please, I want to bring up her father, James Sanchez, to say a couple of words.
First and foremost, I want to thank everyone who came to show support to my daughter and my family. It's highly appreciated. I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. My daughter was a caring, loving daughter who just loved her kids and her family very deeply, very deeply. And we are here today to show support and maybe help someone else who could possibly be in the same situation, okay? So what we're doing here, we're showing that we're stronger in numbers. We are very stronger in numbers. Please, if you see some type of sign of something's wrong, just say something about it. Make yourself present to it, that you acknowledge that and you want to help and help that person not have to go through what my daughter went through. Okay, because it's really hard to deal with. And like I said, I'm so happy everybody showed so much support, and it's from the bottom of my heart. I thank you guys for showing some love like this and supporting us. My family appreciates it very much, and I'm sure my daughter in heaven right now is smiling on all of us, not just my family, on all of us, because we're showing so much support for her. All right, thank you guys. Thank you so much.
I think this lady out of I can't imagine being her, but she drummed up the courage to come out and say a couple of words. And I think we spent the whole day yesterday together, and the amount of strength that she has displayed has been encouraging to me as a mother. And I thank her, and I am so sorry. Cynthia Santos, the mother of Sade.
Again, I just want to thank everybody for the support and love. The energy is so beautiful for my daughter, because that's what she is. So positive, so sweet, so good. I just want to say the system failed my daughter. Let him deliver the report. It was never made. Nothing ever happened. We called the cops after the reports made 3 more reports and nothing ever happened. And then my daughter dies in my hands. I couldn't save her. Savage. He didn't love himself. He didn't love nobody around him. He never told my daughter she was beautiful. You gotta get out. Don't let these men abuse you. You gotta talk to your family. There's always help. There's always help. Destroyed my family. My siblings, we're not the same anymore. I love my daughter so much.
Man, this big. This big, I almost have to pull up the fucking.
Going to have brief comments, and again, she mentions about some flaws in the system, which we need to talk about. There's an active investigation going on. The state, myself, as well as the Congresswoman are working diligently to ensure that we get the correct information, and whoever is responsible and whatever system has been flawed, we're going to make sure that this doesn't happen again. So with that said, I would like to bring up Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez.
This is difficult. A young life, a senseless murder. She was taken away from her children, her mother, her father, her brothers and sisters. We need to use this moment where we are grieving the entire community to make sure that protocols are followed accordingly, because local police enforcement need to know that when someone files a complaint, within 24 hours, actions must be taken. We need to be proactive, because if there is a flaw on the system, it could cost lives. This is a conversation that must take place, not only at the community level, at the state and the federal level. We know when we saw what happened for the last few weeks, where so much was discussed about sexual assault and domestic violence. Let me remind that in Washington, we have failed to reauthorize the Women's Domestic Violence Act. It is time for the federal government to do its work to make sure that we protect women and men who are victims of domestic violence. And I just would like to remind the people here, you need to keep in mind that nearly half of all murdered women are killed by their romantic partners. Half nationwide. This is a crisis, and we need to address it. to the Sanchez family, all I can say to you, that I mourn with you, that we love you, that we will be here, and the best we can do is to make sure that we have a system in place that will empower and will protect women and victims of domestic violence. Basta, no, basta ya, ni una sola muerte más. Tenemos que hacer lo posible por garantizar que nuestros hijos, nuestros hermanos, nuestra familia estén protegidas. Gracias.
Thank you, Congresswoman. We also would like to bring up a representative from Make the Road. I think she has, she's a survivor herself. Monica.
Hi everyone, my name is Monica Navarro. I am a member of Make the Road, New York. I was born and raised in Bushwick, and I'm a survivor of a domestic violence. 4 years ago, I began a relationship where it started out great. But eventually the person that I was dating became demanding, controlling, stalking me, and even hitting me. Threatened me to kill me. I feared my life and my children. I made multiple reports on the abuser, but it wasn't for me hiding out and hoping he will eventually stop looking for me. I don't know where I would have been right now. I'm thankful that I am standing here alive and sharing this story today. My heart breaks for the young woman who was 24 years old, who lost her life over the weekend. Domestic violence needs to be taken seriously in our Bushwick community. More resources are needed for people who are in abusive relationships like me. We need resources that will help us identify abuser behaviors in a relationship, help us report our abuser, and support and help feel protected while we're doing so. Domestic violence is happening every day in our community. We must work tireless to put an end to this. Thanks to Assemblywoman Davila for standing here today with our survivors, so that together we can make sure that no other members in our community lose their life to domestic violence. We must do more to listen and protect each other. Thank you. And I want to say, I'm sorry.
If there are any representatives from any elected official office here, please just, yes. So here with us representing the council member Antonio Reynoso's office, Boris Santos, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Assembly Member. I know for the family, I know this is very rough. I was hoping the council member could be here. He should probably be on his way, but I want to quickly say, this didn't happen in our district. Our district is literally 3 blocks away, but we stand here because an injustice that happens anywhere is an injustice that happens everywhere, as Martin Luther King Jr. so eloquently put it. And so when we represent Bushwick, it's not just half of it, but all of it. And we're standing here today condemning all domestic violence that happens in this community and anywhere. This happens too often, specifically in communities of color. And we want to condemn that anywhere it happens. When it comes to domestic violence resources, we do have resources on the ground. North Brooklyn Coalition Against Family Violence is the premier organization that offers resources here. They happen to service anonymously because they want to make sure that privacy concerns are handled. But they're here. Services are here. More services are needed. And that's why it's important to always stand together as state, federal, and city representatives. I want to really deeply send my condolences, my prayers to the family. I do also want to stress that when it comes to the legal matter, this lady took the precautions necessary to make sure that she's protected. There was an order of protection filed, and this still occurred. And that's what makes it even more enraging for us. Domestic violence must be condemned. It must be condemned anytime, everywhere. We're here standing strong. Thank you, Bushwick, for showing up. We'll continue the fight. May God bless you all. Thank you.
And as Boris Santos was mentioning the North Brooklyn Coalition Against Family Violence, we have a representative here. But what the history of the North Brooklyn Coalition Against Family Violence, what he doesn't know